everyone, it's Denise with Wondubar Crafts, and today I am excited to show you my new digital kit. It is a kit for organizing your ribbons, laces, and trims. It is 13 pages long and it has been quite a process to get it finished. It took me about 3 months to finally get it all done where I wanted it to be and share with you guys. One of the reasons why I was inspired to do this was I struggled sometimes with getting ribbon cards to print properly on the back sides without them shifting too much. They would be like a huge gap between where I printed on from one side to the other, and I wanted something that I could print and hopefully have no issues with. So I'm also going to share with you some printing tips that I have learned along the way, and also just show you guys how to use some of the ribbon cards. This kit is called Spring Birds, Butterflies, and Blooms, and it is in my Etsy right now. It's loaded up and ready to go. It is you purchase it and obviously you download a zip file and you can use it as many times as you like. I do have some terms of use. You can review those on the listing itself, but you can certainly use them in your Etsy. You could print them, sell them, put ribbon on them and sell them that way, anything you like. So this is what is in the kit. There are 3 large ribbon cards and they are all different. They are 5 inches wide by 10.5 long, and as you can see, let's see if I can get it up, beautiful birds and a lot of flowers and butterflies and just, you know, fun and pretty things I thought that I would like in my sewing bins, or little containers. Actually, I get like the little Dollar Tree containers, and that's what I wrap and organize my ribbon in. And then you'll also get, of the same patterns, 3 of a 2-card set that are a little bit thinner ribbon cards. They are 3 inch by 10.5, and there's 2 on each cards, and they do print very well on the back sides, and also the same patterns. And I love all these little butterflies and the birds, and I love these 2 little birds. They're just so adorable. And I placed some little butterflies so it looked like the birds were checking them out. Then you'll get 3 also of the same pattern, some larger, this one's upside down, larger lace cards, and of course you can also wrap ribbon on them, either or trims. They are 3.5 by 4, they're 3.5 wide by 4 3/4 or 4.75 high, and they will hold up to 2 3/4 inch lace or trim on them, and they are also of the same pattern, and they do print on the back side. Alright, and then you will get one page that has there's 3 of each of the styles on there. These are the medium-sized lace cards. They are 2 1/4 wide, or 2 1/8 wide. I'm sorry, 2 1/8 wide by 3 inches high, and they will hold 1 3/4 inch lace or trim or ribbon. Okay, I'll show you that again. And for those of you who may struggle with your printer, depending on your printer and how you load it, sometimes it's frustrating because I I found even with these, I would print it and one time it would come out perfect and they were all spot on, and I would make a little adjustment and then just to the graphic itself, and then I would print again and it was shifted, and I didn't understand why, because the graphic itself, the placement, I didn't move. I found over trial and error that it had to do with my printer. I have 3 different printers. I have a home printer that's a Hewlett Packard. It does print in color, and I did print these on there and they came out perfect. I also have an Epson 440, which is awesome for crafting because it used the Versa ink on it, and they're very bright and vibrant inks. They're permanent inks and they're awesome. And did not have a problem with that one either. But I have a larger Eco print. It's like the 3570 Epson Eco tank. Or no, I'm sorry, 3750, the ET 3750 Eco Tank Epson, and it's a larger printer, but it loads from the bottom from a tray. So that is where I was having problems with printing, and it was shifting because even though I had the side pieces aligned, it would vary just a small smidgen and it would be off. It would be perfect at the top and then off at the bottom, and that's where I was having some issues. So I will talk a little bit more about that after I finish showing you guys the kit. So if you do have that issue, I wanted to make sure that you still had an alternative to be able to print something on the back, because I like lace cards and I like them to be on, you want the pattern on both sides, because you know, as you're taking it off, you're turning it back and forth, so you only got a pattern on one side and a blank on the other, right? So what I did was I included the backgrounds. So there are 3 different backgrounds to this kit, and of course these can be used in journals as well. And I did print them differently because I wanted to show you that you can print with a border and then without a border on these. And if you notice, these two look very similar. The difference is there's an overlay on this one with an additional pattern. So I printed this one. I gave you this one with the pattern, this one without the pattern, and then this one. Okay? And then all you would do is print this and then flip it over and then print on here, just like this one is done. And I did that on all 3 of these to show you that is what you could do. So that is what is in the kit. There are, like I said, 13 pages. It's a fairly large kit. And I thought, you know, I have literally paid like $3 just for one sheet of lace cards. And although I can print them as many times as I like, it's not too unfairly priced. But it can, when you've got different styles that you want, and if you want ones that are larger or the ribbon cards, you pay quite a bit more. I priced this, I think, very reasonable. It's $5.95 in the shop for all of this. And like I said, you can print it as many times as you like. You can print them, cut them out, put your ribbon on them, sell them on your Etsy, use them for personal use, whichever you prefer. Just make sure that you stay within the terms of use, which is, you know, I limit commercial use, i.e. large business commercial. Small business like Etsy or, you know, your crafting booth or that kind of thing, I'm fine with. But back to printing. When you print these, I did print these. I did not fit to page because they are scaled appropriately. If you click your box on, if you have a PC and you use Windows, it will ask you if you'd like to fit to page. If you do, what it does is it stretches it widthwise and lengthwise, and you may not be able to get it to print appropriately on the back side. So unclick for the ribbon cards. For all of the ribbon cards, do not print to page, print as it is, because they are sized so that they're evenly aligned on the page to print on both sides. When you print the background, you can do it either way, because these fit within the limitation of having a border. so it won't extend, your pattern will not extend past the border. So you could print it to save a little bit of ink around the edge if you like, for, you know, to print it that way, or you can print it borderless like this. So make sure, but to do that, you can print it fit to page, and it's still going to print on a PC. It will print the border. You have to go into your printer settings and tell it to print borderless for a full unbordered piece. That is just how Print Shop or Corel, because I use both Corel and, or not Print Shop, Photoshop to make my designs. Because I used to do a lot of designing when I did embroidery. So I've kind of had to learn Photoshop as I went with it, because I typically use Corel. But it is an older version, so I felt I wanted some better in-depth graphics for this kit, so I had to learn Photoshop. Oh boy, that was fun. But when you're printing, every printer is different, so you have to kind of play with your printer. And I know it stinks sometimes because you don't want to waste the ink, because ink is expensive. Even in an eco printer, it can be expensive if you do a lot of printing. I bought mine, it said it had 2 years worth. I can tell you now, I will not have 2 years worth of ink to print on it, because I do a lot of, most of my papers I do digital now. I don't typically buy cardstock or papers anymore that are actual printed. I would prefer to print them myself. So I'm going to use a lot more ink. I have found that if your printer has a top loader, so you load the paper from the back or from the front, or, you know, have a side tray, it is much easier to align than having a pull-out tray. When you have a pull-out tray, you can put it in there and the sides are aligned, but when you push it back in, unless you have one that actually has a raised lip, which mine does not, to hold that paper in place perfect, it's going to slide back and forth, up and down, lengthwise. So sometimes when you put it in there, you might have it shift back a little bit. So when the rollers pick up the paper to feed it through, you won't get it just picks up an edge, and so it may print a little bit higher, and then when you flip it over, it grabs it the correct way, and then it shifts. So just be careful about how you load your paper. Make sure that your paper is all set, and don't I found that if I don't push it in really hard and I just slowly close the tray, I have much better luck in printing with my EcoPrint printer. If you have a top loader and you find that it's shifting a little bit, check also your paper size. I have found that although when you buy paper and it says it is 10.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5, it could be literally off by 1/8 of an inch, either in width or height. So check your measurements on your paper if you're still having the same issue. Not all paper is the same. I typically don't have a problem with the more expensive paper, the better quality brand paper, than I do using a cheaper 20-pound paper. Sometimes it can be off just a little bit with how the machine cut it, and they may not have even noticed it when they shipped it, because it's such a small variance. But that small variance, when you put it back into the printer, can cause your digitals to off print if you're trying to print on both sides, especially with something you're trying to line up. So I hope that helps you guys out a little bit. Those were some things that I had to learn the hard way, and printed a lot of with frustration to finally figure out how to take my time to do it, to get them to print right. So with that being said, that is the digital kit. So I want to kind of show you what I do with the larger, because I've had someone ask me, well, how do you use the larger ribbon holders? Now, I printed this vertical so that you could fold it, and that your pattern is on both sides. If you decide to print the background, your background would be on the inside, or you can flip it over and have the pattern on all 4 sides. You can certainly wrap your ribbons all the way across and then store them up and down. So either way you pick it up, you have your graphic, right? So you can certainly wrap them that way. That is fine to do, however you like to store them. For me, I do it this way because when I do my kits, and I will be loading some of these type packs into my shop, I want to be able, so that you can see the graphic on the back. It has a place to hold the card. You can staple it at the top and then take the staples out so for your use, but for shipping I will keep them closed. And then punch a little hole at the top, put a little ribbon in there, and then you have a place to hold your ribbon if it's something that you want to maybe sell on your Etsy or something like that. So what I want to do is show you some different ways, and then of course these are great for gifts. So if you're going to do Happy Mail and you have a bunch of different ribbons or laces that you want to do, you can wrap them on a card and, you know, staple them closed, or even just ribbon hold it. It will hold in place. So here I want to show you. I cut some ribbon and show you real quick what I mean. So I'm just going to start with my bottom piece here and just wrap it around just like you would, you know, a normal lace card. And what I did to fold this one, or to get the paper folded, here I'll show you in just a second here. Let me get this tucked here. Oh, here, let me show you this first and then I'll rewrap it. Alright, so what I did was I scored on one side my halfway mark so that I could fold it in half. And then I took and scored 1/8 of an inch on either side to give a small gusset. Just so that you can use a thicker ribbon or a thicker lace if you're going to bundle it a little bit thicker, to give you a little gusset at the bottom to give you some space in between, so it's not like all jam-packed and bulged out. Now if you have thinner stuff, you can certainly just fold it in half and that would be fine as well. So that's all I did with that. So okay, so let me rewrap this ribbon on here. Very simple. It's just wrapping. That's it. But I just wanted to show you guys just some different things, different ideas that you could use for your ribbon holders. I just tuck it down and then feed it back through and back down again. And it typically stays in place, so alright, another piece here. And so when, like I said, if you have a 10.5, I mean, you've got quite a bit here. You could probably run about 8 to 9 inches worth of space to wrap some ribbons all the way across, or you could do, you know, 3 or 4, depending on the size of the lace. I wanted something thicker because sometimes I find some very thick lace pieces, and, you know, a smaller lace card just isn't big enough. You know, it's not wide enough, or it makes it way too bulky for, you know, the lace. So I wanted something that I could put on there. So I'll give you an example. See, like I have this bigger, thicker one that I got, and it's a thicker lace, so I'm going to have to rewrap it on something. I mean, this lace is, about 3 inches in thickness. So, you know, I wanted something that I could still put it on there and showcase it and see and look at it and say, oh, okay, yeah, that's a nicer piece of lace, you know, not just a smaller, and overlook the small details of the lace, thinking, oh, maybe no, that's, and then realize later, oh yeah, that was something I could have used. Oh, look at that. I missed that completely. But these make, these little cards make awesome, like I said, Happy Mail gifts, or you can use them in your Etsy if you have some lace that you want to sell, or, you know, in your little bundle packs or whatever. I thought it would be fun, and I wanted to give you guys something for your money, you know, something that was worthwhile, some different patterns that you can choose from, and, you know, just have some fun with it. So there I have, it's completely folded, and then if you just want to put a lacy top, you can certainly just poke a hole. I have one of these, I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's like one of those tag, you know, for like inventory tags, you know, the longer hole punch. So let me see if I can center this with my eyeball. And then you have a thin one for, you know, some thinner piece of ribbon, or you can take, and what I do is poke a little top. And I learned this from Jessica Rapp, by the way. She's awesome. And then now what I can do is, so if I want to put, let's say, a piece of, let me find some ribbon there, some thicker ribbon, I have a place that it will catch there without it bulking up or ripping my paper. So, because sometimes if you do a hole and you tug on it, it will pull. And you can definitely use reinforcers if you want, and that's fine. But I find that putting that longer hole and then the smaller one at the top takes some of the weight or the stress off of the hole. So it has a little place to go, like for the lace to sit in there. Well, come on, tug for me. There we go. So there you go. See, and it keeps it closed. Nice little gift. And like I said, you could certainly organize your laces by color this way. You could put them longer. And if you're going to ship it or you're concerned that it may not stay closed, you can always just, I need to buy one of those little itty bitty staplers. I like those things. They're so cute. But you can staple it closed. So now it's all ready. A nice little lace card. And that's that. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like what you see. The kit is loaded in Etsy. It is a digital download. Now for those of you who do not have the capability of printing, and or you just, you know, you don't, maybe you have a printer but it doesn't print very good quality, that's okay. I just got a Cricut machine. Actually, it just came in the mail today. I ordered it a couple days ago, and I'm excited to use it, so I will be playing with that as soon as I get this video uploaded. I'm going to go play with it. But I'm going to cut some of these out and offer them on my Etsy, so you'll be able to buy the kit already printed and cut. I hope everybody has had a wonderful day and is going to have the rest of their week is awesome and getting ready for the weekend. I know I am. And I will see you guys shortly. Love, hugs, and blessings. Mwah. Bye, guys.